the trees around you begin to breathe. Not the wind, not your imagination, you hear it slow, heavy, alive. That was exactly what happened to Samuel on the night everything changed. Samuel had lived his whole life on the edge of Blackroot Forest, a place the villagers warned children never to enter after sunset. They said the forest wasn't just old, it was awake. But Samuel never believed stories told by old men sitting around fires. Until the night he decided to prove everyone wrong. His younger sister, Eliza, swore she heard voices under her window every night. Whispers drifting from the forest. Samuel rolled his eyes and told her the wind could trick anyone half asleep. But then she pointed out something that froze him. The wind can say my name. Samuel laughed it off, but he didn't forget. That night, long after the house went quiet, he took a lantern, stepped outside, and walked straight toward Blackroot Forest. He wasn't scared, or maybe he was just too stubborn to admit it. The moment he crossed the tree line, the world changed. The air thickened, even the crickets went silent. It felt like stepping into a world that didn't want him there. Samuel kept going, counting each step, determined not to turn back. After several minutes of walking, he stopped. Something was breathing, not fast, but deep, slow, heavy, and close. He spun around, lantern shaking in his hand, expecting to see a wolf or maybe a wild boar. But there was nothing, just trees stretching endlessly into the dark. Then he noticed something strange. The mist on the ground was moving. Not drifting like normal fog, but pulsing, in and out. Almost like lungs. Samuel took a step back. That was when he heard a sound that nearly made his legs collapse. A heartbeat. A tree, not just any tree, a massive old trunk, twisted and scarred, stood just a few feet away. Its bark looked cracked like dried skin. Moss hung from its branches like rotten hair. But the worst part, the bark rose and fell. The tree was breathing. Samuel stood frozen, unable to move as the trunk expanded again, exhaling a long, slow groan that sounded painfully human. The lantern flickered. Samuel felt something watching him. He whispered to himself, "This isn't real," the tree answered. A whisper slid through the branches. "Why do you disturb my sleep?" Samuel's heartbeat slammed in his chest. His fingers trembled, nearly dropping the lantern. The tree's voice deepened. "You enter my forest without fear." Not many do. Roots shifted beneath Samuel's feet like snakes waking up. He stumbled back as the ground cracked. The tree continued. "Humans used to speak with the forest. Now you come with fire and blades, but your sister." She listened. Samuel felt the world tilt. His sister. The branches lowered, as though the tree was bending toward him. "She walks to the edge of the woods each night. She thinks no one sees, but I do." Samuel's throat tightened. "What do you want with her?" The tree's voice softened, almost hungry. "A listener always belongs to the forest." Samuel pulled a knife from his belt, not much, but the only thing he had. The tree laughed, a sound like wooden ribs cracking. "You cannot harm what is older than time." Samuel turned to run, only to freeze. Roots snapped up from the soil like claws, blocking his path. The trees around him stirred, their trunks groaning, breathing, waking. Samuel realized the truth. It wasn't just one tree. The entire forest was alive. He backed toward the lantern's fading light. "Let me go," he demanded. A pause, then the ancient whisper, "I will not keep you yet, but your sister returns tomorrow at midnight. If you do not bring her back home, the forest will take her." The roots sank again. The heartbeat slowed. The forest went still. Samuel didn't wait. He ran. Branches whipped at his skin. Leaves hissed like angry whispers, but he didn't stop until he burst back into the open moonlight outside the forest. He collapsed, gasping, staring at the still, silent trees behind him. They no longer moved. They looked harmless, like ordinary trees. No one would believe what happened. Except Samuel knew one thing for sure. Tomorrow at midnight, the forest was coming for Eliza.